I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
Hey, look, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fucked solid up, man. You know what I'm saying? To the fans and all.
Do that job outside the ring. I'm a fighter. Like I said before, ain't no safety on the clock, so
I'll take them how they come and make them look ordinary.
What's going on? This is Michael Rogers, and welcome to Body Work Boxing. We're going to talk some boxing tonight. That's all I wanted to do. And it's a lot going on because I really feel like there are a few scarlet letters in boxing. But Michael, why would you say that? Because it's a lot of like hardcores, platforms, they contradict each other so much it don't make no goddamn sense. And I'm like, sometimes I just sit back and it's like, man, do I even want to do videos, man? Do I even want to make, like, do I even really want to do any videos on this shit? Because it's so blatantly obvious that, you know, the channels that catch fire, the ones that take and have this meteoric rise, they bought and paid for it, man. Sold out. Sold. I can't be sold. I can't be sold. I can't be bought. And I'm not going to change my stance. I'm just not. And you see, it's like, man, I've seen this pattern, man. It was two people. It was two channels in specific that I know sold out. I know they have. Because I when I discovered their channel, I said, oh, man, this is refreshing take. They unbiased. They speaking their truth. Regardless of color. They looking at everything the way I looked at everything. And I swear it was almost like overnight. I would say it was probably like over a weekend, over about 4 or 5 episodes where I said, hold on, what's going on? Stop. In them two channels, man, you can clearly see a difference, man. They bought and paid for it, man. They'll come out and do a video about how everybody race baiting, and then they come out and race bait. You know, but, I mean, I still go to their channels, man, but I just eat the fish and spit out the bones at this point. Because it's just getting ridiculous, man. It's getting ridiculous. And I'm like, hey, look, man. We just got to start being real and start saying that people who claim to be new media are doing the same old shit that old media did with a different new twist to it.
I'll take them how they come and make them look ordinary.
There ain't nothing really different about it. That's why, you know, this episode is pretty much the Scarlet Letter boxers unpacked. Stop the jokes. Cause there's a lot of goddamn jokes out here when it come down to this boxing, man, and what's real and what's not, and who's real and who's not, and who's ducking and who's not. It's just getting like, it's kindergartenish. So the three boxers, you know what I'm saying, that I have in mind that somehow became the scarlet letters, or they got these scarlet letters, you know what I'm saying? I don't see how. The first is Mr. Gary Russell Jr. It's obvious something's going on where I think the guy been blackballed, man. The longest reigning champion in the WBC from what, 2015. The scarlet letter he got is an I. What is that I, Michael? Inactive. Every time you bring up his name, what they say, the first, in all these talks, you could be talking or whatever, oh man, I would love to see this, or oh man, he only fight once a year. He only fight once a year. That's his scarlet letter. Inactive. I don't know who gave him that. I don't know who put him in a position to where he's only able to fight for 1 year, once a year or whatever, but that I don't believe that that's that man's decision. I think that man called out Joe Biden. Man, Gary Russell man called out everybody. He called out Bud. He called out Tank. He called out Mikey Garcia. Who else? He said Shakur could get that smoke. And Shakur my man, but Shakur did wiggle up out of 126 and didn't go see that man. And one thing I do, man, I got to apply that 80-20 rule to everything. And what that means is, if I'm rocking with you, right? But just like with me. When I evaluate and assess myself, man, I aim for excellence. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I fall to the 80%. And I just got to be real about the 20% deficiency that's wrong with me, or the 20% to where I have improvement. Because nobody's 100 all the time. I might bat 100 2 days in a row, bat a 97 and drop a 75. It's just the law of averages. But I gotta apply the 80-20 rule to everything, and that's how I feel about a lot of boxers. So if you looking at me and you try to gauge me based on a statement I say to support another fighter, you gotta gauge me with the 80-20. 80 is pretty much what I aim for. 80 is like, man, you can't, a consistent 80, I'll take that. I'll take that. I'm just going to deal with the 20%. And that's like part of the 20% with Shakur wiggling past Mr. Gary Russell. Because he could have got that smoke. He should have got that smoke. It's one of my only knocks on Shakur. So when he say Oscar Valdez is ducking him and, you know, whatever else, you know what I'm saying, that goes on, and Jamal Herring, like, you know, he's not ducking him, but he is going to take a better opportunity. It's a better opportunity to unify versus just fighting you for a belt. Like, risking my belt that you might take it as opposed to me going and unify. That's just what it is, and I'm working on a video for Shakur right now. That's my guy. I think he is the future. But I'm an 80-20 guy. And Mr. Gary Russell get a bad rap. I don't know why, but he got the scarlet letter I. He called out Bud. Devin stepped in. He said, all right, cool. Let's do this. Nothing happened. You got all these people, man. It's like, y'all don't, like, when it come down to us, we get no respect, and like some of us are our own worst enemies, man. Some of the biggest channels be shitting on us the most. Then it seems like I'm an apologist, or I'm trying to rectify and try to clarify and really like back up and support and defend, certain people, it's like, well, who else gonna do it? Because if y'all gonna put out 80% bullshit, then I gotta be the 20% to say, okay, well, on that date and that time, this guy was doing a video saying, no, this is what's really going on, but because y'all bought and paid for, y'all keep pushing these narratives. And we gotta stop it. We gotta stop it, man. It's a double standard when it comes to us. We shit on us more than other people shit on us. And then we wonder why they always shitting on us. It was like, well, damn, we can't be doing any worse than what you guys are doing to yourselves. That's how they see it. So that's Mr. Gary Russell's Scarlett letter, man. He done called out everybody, man. Nobody want to fight the dude. He said, I'll move up or whatever, and like, it's just a business sense. If you got that belt, or you've been down there, you've been the featherweight champ for that long, he called out Leo Santa Cruz, Tank. He said Shakur could get that work. He called out Bud. I mean, they let Mikey go up to fight Earl, and they said he was daring to be great. Mr. Gary Russell, who has a history of stealing Bud in the jaw, called him out and say, hey, this is personal. I really want that smoke. They said, oh, little Gary Russell. Little Gary Russell. Then you be having all these channels be giving all these backhanded ass compliments to Mr. Gary Russell, talking about, oh man, that's my guy. I fuck with Mr. Gary Russell. Oh yeah, and then when it come to somebody else who ain't even proven, and I ain't gonna mention his name right now, but he young, he dumb, he just be yapping. Give him all the praise, all the credit in the world, and then disrespect the longest reigning champ. Currently the longest reigning champ. But that gets no respect. That has no prestige. That has no value whatsoever. Moving right along. Charlo. And you would think that Charlo would be my absolute favorite fighter. If I say, hey, I'm going to war with this guy right here, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to pick Charlo. It's not Charlo. But he is one of my favorite fighters. I'd be hard pressed to pick 4 other motherfuckers that I would rather choose opposed to him, but I wouldn't say my number one guy. But I rock with him, man, because of what he stands for. And I think that right now, media is going crazy. Everybody's so far up Ginger's ass, you know what I'm saying, kissing his ass and saying he the face of boxing. He's not the face of boxing. He's not. The face of boxing would have never got caught cheating. And if so, then he always forever have an asterisk beside his name. That's one. But I realized that some of my favorite fighters in the past have actually got caught cheating. So it's like, do I knock them out of being my favorite boxer just because they cheated? No. But they still have an asterisk once it becomes common knowledge that they actually did participate in some illegal activity in the sport where some people have never. But let me break this down real quick. This whole triangle, it was a triangle. It was kind of like a triangle between Charlo, Ginger, and Benavidez. Then that triangle became Benavidez, Ginger, and Plant. And in the midst of that, trying to stir up something and create some kind of tourney and get some traction, because he lost his belt on the scales one time to cocaine and the other time to the scales. He suggests, hey, let's fight. The winner get Ginger. That's what it's coming down to, or that's the narrative that's being painted. But if I were to show you a picture of Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez and put them side by side, we can probably do both 2 business suits, or we can do them both in the gym. And I said, which one ever popped out for cocaine? Which one would you pick? If I said, which one of these 2 dudes ever lost their belt to the scales? Which one would you pick? So even fighting at 168, man, like, this is boxing, and you're supposed to have a certain kind of physique. But it's a sloppy physique. Ain't nobody saying that. And everybody say, oh, man, it's just about boxing. It's just like, no. Y'all overly critical. It's just like when Tank lost his belt to the scales. Everybody and their mama got videos. I could pull up tons of videos right now when Tank did that. When he lost his belt to the scales. That's all we heard about. Any little outside the ring issue, that's all we hear about when it comes to us from us, which I don't understand. But see, the beauty of pressure is that pressure either bust pipes or it create diamonds. You know what y'all did? Because I used to really like, I used to really like Benavidez. I really did. But it was like the fact that so many people started hating on Maul and trying to shit on his accomplishments like he was the one that did cocaine and lost his belt. Like, he's not a 2-division champion. Then everybody say, well, who has he fought? Who has he fought? You know what? I know who Maul fought. Everybody know who Maul fought. But you know what that did? It made me go back and look at David Benavidez's resume. And even though I saw his fights, I actually had to revisit it. And I look at some of them fights, man, how that resume got built up. And then when I look at, like, in the major, Andre, what was it, Darrell? That headbutt situation wasn't really a knockout situation. The 2 times that he fought for a belt, it was vacant. So it wasn't like I had a strap and then he came and beat my ass. No, the strap was up for grabs and they picked 2 motherfuckers to go fight for it. Let's keep it a buck. But yeah, everybody want to shit on Maul Charlo. Like, he's not the family man. Like, he hasn't kept his nose clean. He kept his nose clean. Pissed off because of what his brother said. And you got whole platforms saying that, nah, we're not going to support him. I'll never be down. I'll never forgive. You know what's so crazy is, I heard a dude, a platform that I used to think was really good, man. But then I looked through it and I saw some hypocrisy, and it's just like, man, you know what? If I catch it, I catch it. If I don't, I don't. Because it's, for one, this man basically said that it's nothing that, and now this was Mel. Mel said something about Wilder. And that turned the whole community against him, right? And he later on came back and apologized and said that it was taken out of context and that it wasn't about race. But in that matter, that he was saying that in that instance, it didn't matter about race. But he does recognize that race plays a part in our everyday lives, which we all do. We all do. But this man basically came out and said, there's nothing that Mel can say that'll ever make him support him. But I remember a certain individual getting kicked out of that same community because he stood up and he said, you know what? When that whole incident with Clarissa Shields happened and her folks put his hands on that senior citizen, I don't know if y'all remember that. Then when her folks put his hands on that senior citizen. Y'all remember that? But that was acceptable. That was acceptable behavior. So when somebody put their hands on somebody, a senior citizen, that's acceptable. But then somebody says something that's of an opinion of yours that you don't like, then you're going to use your platform to say, hey, we should never support these guys. Make that make sense. I come up with these examples all the time. Okay, so the scarlet letter that Maul has is a D. Saying they ducking Benavidez. Keep regurgitating the same old information, I guess because now Benavidez is allegedly. So I went to go tune in for a video today where he was supposed to come on at 3:30 and I didn't see no David Benavidez. But since only certain people are getting access to certain videos, you got to get your information where you get it from. And I interpret shit different than everybody else. So I was going to tune in and see what's going on. But I guess since he got a pass and there's a connection going on now, it's like, okay, y'all saying fuck the twins. Come on, Benavidez, because y'all think his stock is rising. Well, for one, he ain't disciplined. He's not disciplined. And you got one platform who won't even really state what he said or what he did. You got one platform that's so goddamn scared to say what he did that he won't say that the man snorted cocaine. He said, oh, well, recreational use. And I'm trying to make it like this. We're not talking about marijuana, brother. And even if we was, like, that's not what he was talking about. So, you got one platform that won't even say it, but he'll come out every time he goddamn speaks his name. Then you wonder why people say, oh, man, shit, yeah. Why somebody say they're going to put their hands on you. Because y'all just jump ship. Like, we be our own worst enemies. I swear. We really do. And somebody got to speak up. Somebody got to say something about it because it's just getting ridiculous, man. Maul ain't never lost his belt to the scales. Maul ain't never lost his belt to some recreational drug use. That man got a family, wife, kids, his brother, a twin. That the whole pressure of just having a twin is doing the same thing that you do. And whenever y'all differ, a microscope get put up your ass and the magnifying glass get put over your head. And so y'all paint this rhetoric like, oh, all of a sudden now that the ginger and plant deal fall through, now you're saying that you'll go up and beat Plant's ass for a belt. Duh! He's older. He been sitting in line waiting around for Canelo, and y'all failed to mention, like, it's just like if every time y'all gonna bring up Benavidez, y'all gonna say that Maul ducked, then bring up the fact that Ginger ducked Maul. Bring that up every time.
I'll take them how they come and make them look ordinary.
But you know what's worse than a lie? Omission. When you omit certain things from a conversation, that's just as worse as a lie. And like I said, that moral compass, man, that shit is never pointing. I shit got Peronis. How moral compass got Peronis, man? That shit bent like a motherfucker. If you don't know what that is, go look it up, sir. Well, yeah. I mean, we gotta be honest. We gotta be real. Like we don't really understand what Maul been trying to accomplish and what he been trying to do. Cause the minute he like the performance against Montiel, like that performance, y'all was like, oh man, he ain't ready. All of a sudden, rolled him off. Y'all been already rolled him off. That's why I'm like, man, I understand why he be like, fuck y'all fans. Y'all fair weather. Canelo can piss dirty, cherry pick, drop belts, get a franchise, come out of a deal for the biggest payday of his life, and his brothers, his compadres, his amigos gonna be like, oh yeah, you know, they gonna argue with you tooth and nail. It'll be 10-1. Oh no, I don't recall that. They got convenient amnesia with everything that he do. Us, the minute, oh man, he said he like black and I like white. Oh, we gotta get rid of Charlo. Can't support that guy. Who do he think he is? Have an opinion. Fuck wrong with us, man? And be wondering why like y'all we don't get no interviews and all that good shit. Because like, I mean, to be honest, everybody who got a big platform don't deserve it. It's like y'all bought and paid for it, man. And I'm starting to see who bought and paid for it. I'm starting to see who's bought and paid for it. But guess what? Guess who didn't show up for their interview today? Just like the cocaine and the scales, there was no interview. Guess who? It wasn't Maul. It was Benavidez. But anyway, I go back to looking at his resume, and the dude never really was. I mean, he's not a world beater. I was looking at somebody with 20-something losses, 7 losses. I know some of that, like, right, the first couple fights is like, you know, resume building or whatever, showcase fights to show. Okay, I understand that. But I look back at his resume, and it's like, it's only like 3 real people that I was actually being able to see. And if Lionel Thompson was able to beat the guy that he's getting ready to fight, and he actually got in there with Kovalev, I'm not a genius, but why wouldn't you go beat the guy that beat the guy that you're about to fight? That's almost like when Bud decided to fight Khan instead of Danny, and Khan got more money, but Danny already knocked Khan out. Y'all point that out and y'all can do that simple math, but y'all can't do this simple math, and y'all act like y'all don't understand why Maul would actually be willing to go up to 168 because Plant has a belt. Canelo has a belt. Benavidez does not have a belt. Like, what is there not to understand? It's not a duck just because you hardcore. Oh, so you hardcore and you want the best fights, but then you want to actually condone Canelo walking away from the fucking table from Plant for undisputed. Hello, Pot. I'm black. That's how you sound. But we gotta stop that, man. Somebody gotta have some integrity. My man came in me the other day like, oh man, you must really go hard for Maul. It's like, who else gonna go hard for him? Who else gonna go hard for him? What other channels are gonna do that? What other channels are gonna stand firm and like let the truth be the truth be the truth? What other channels gonna really do that? Yeah, he got flaws. He got deficiencies. Yeah, I mean, he got a personality out. But if that's the reason why you want to give this man a scarlet letter for something that he says, because he talks a lot of trash to somebody that's in a higher weight division than him, that's his scarlet letter, we got to have the same energy for Devin. Calling out Mikey. You gotta have the same energy for Tank and Josh Taylor going back and forth with each other. and never really planning on dancing. Never really wanting to really take the challenge. They got Rolly calling out Devin, saying that, man, I seen an interview on the Porter's Way. We got Rolly calling out Devin, saying that, man, he wanted to expose Devin and Tank. But he believes that Devin is the biggest fraud. And he's saying he was stretching. Devin just dismissed him on some old, basically he's retarded. Dismissal, and we just let that just walk by. So it's like, when do we honor a call out? Because Gary Russell call out Bud, and it's like, oh, little Gary Russell. But then Mikey go fight Errol Spence. But then when he didn't get the job done, even though people were saying, a lot of people were saying that he was going to get the job done, and Earl got the job done, then y'all say, oh, well, Earl couldn't get little Mikey out of there. It's like, okay, well, when we going to let somebody, and that brought me to a good question. This is a real good sidebar. But if Bud fought Gamboa, when Gamboa moved up in weight and he was a little guy, like, why would it be too far-fetched? Because I've heard rumblings about Keith one time fighting Tank. I'm like, well, shit, if you're going to fight a 137 or 147 guy, go ahead and go fight Bud. Because if Bud did it when he was down there and he fought little Gamboa at the time, Tank in his prime, you pretty much at your prime. I mean, it would just seem too far-fetched, right? When they the same, him and Gamboa the same height, aren't they? Matter of fact, this is the double standards. Tank and Pacquiao are the same height. Come on, I say we be our own worst enemy. That's why I'm like, hey, Tank, man. Hey, Tank, if you ever see one of my videos, brother, keep getting your money, bro. Only thing I would ask, the only caveat is like, okay, if you're going to be on that money route, which I don't blame you, because these fair weather fans, you can't trust them. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us going to rock with you because we know what you possess. But if you're going to get your money, man, like, get some endorsements. I don't know if you have any, get some endorsements. That's my only knock on it. If you're going to take that money route, you're going to do all that, get you an old Princess Ride deal like he got with Gatorade. You know what I'm saying? Go get you a Powerade joint. You know what I'm saying? Because that'll be fitting, huh? Tank with some Powerade. You know what I'm saying? That's what they try to say you're known for. Go ahead and get you a Powerade deal. You know what I'm saying? Or like that shit. Go get you a NyQuil. You know what I'm saying? Go get you a deal with NyQuil. Sleep aid. You know what I'm saying? Go get you a mattress, a Posturepedic deal. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be on that money route. But I digress. Lastly, let's go ahead and get on to this Teo and his Scarlett letter. You know what his Scarlett letter is? It's another D. And that could either represent duck or disputed. And they reason that this man is not undisputed. So riddle me this. Because I just heard some grumblings, and I don't like to come out prematurely before I get my sources, you know what I'm saying, confirmed. But I heard something from a channel basically saying that T.O. was going to take my advice, like I did, when I asked if T.O. was under pressure. Got a video, go check it out. But he basically going to go ahead and go fight Kambosos over there in Australia, right? So now that he's going to go fight Kambosos over there in Australia, then it's going to mean that if Kambosos actually wins, he's leaving with 4 belts. We know that there's an extra belt out there. So, there will be a dispute, but the dispute is because somebody else got mailed the belt. Let's keep it a buck. And again, what's being failed to mention is that there was a tournament that took place. It was Devin, Teo, Fortuna, Abdulev. They all got in that tournament. Fortuna dropped out. Teo and his father, they actually got hipped us with information and said, oh shit, even if we win this tournament, we're not going to have access to Loma. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's go get a belt. Let's go get one from Comey. And then shit, then we'll have something Loma wants. Hence, why Ginger wants to fight Plant, because he has something that he wants. You don't see him just voluntarily just defending his belt for no fucking reason because you're a good fight. But it's okay when he does it. Anyway, I digress. So, if Kambosos win, he gonna walk away with 4 belts. He would then be undisputed. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Because Loma had it. With the exception of the belt that Comey had. So that's going to present a very, 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 very good question. Now that he is going to oblige Kambosos and meet his Triller obligation, which is good business, pat yourself on the back, Teo. Good business decision to go ahead and follow through on good business and to go knock this motherfucker out in highlight real fashion. It's a good move for you. But he wins, then Kambosos would actually be undisputed. But let's say Teo do what I believe he's going to do, even though this is not an easy walk in the park. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be an easy walk in the park. It's going to be some work. You know, Teo got that equalizer, and I think he actually learned from the Loma experience. I think he did. So, that's going to cause a domino effect. So now there's no excuse that, oh, well, Loma's going to sit around and wait for Teo. So pretty much after that fight, it's going to be a wrap for the rest of the year. What's going to be Devin's next move? Because, unfortunately, this is how we are. We would actually try to put more pressure on Teo after getting 4 belts to go and make a fight with Devin so that it would no longer be disputed and it'll be undisputed. But we won't put no pressure on Devin to now that that fight is back on to go fight Loma to prove that you deserve the belt in the first place. Hard pill to swallow, right? We gotta take that scarlet letter off of Teo. We gotta take that scarlet letter off of Maul. And we gotta take that scarlet letter off of Gary, man. Come on with the goddamn joke. Body work. order.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
My word, and I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
Hey, look, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fucked solid up, bro. You know what I'm saying? To the fans that know.
Take it every job outside the ring. I'm a fighter. Like I said before, ain't no safety in the class. So